The screen is not up. Oh my God. Something is happening there. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Sorry for the little delay today. Today we'll be replaying class given by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamruta Swami Maharaj, and the topic is Glories of the Holy One. So I will just play it. Hare Krishna.
कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe, Jai Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Sata His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Shyama Sundar Lalita Vishakha Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadho Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tattradara Naparaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I'm very happy to be with all of you on the occasion of the Holy Name Festival, the Holy Name Week being organized by the Kirtan Ministry of ISKCON. I'm sure you've been hearing many wonderful discourses and also many nice kirtans by many devotees. I feel fortunate to have the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you on the topic of the holy name. And today I will be discussing the scripture where the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has been mentioned and which is cited by our acharyas as the place from where we understand that the Mahamantra is an authentic mantra because it is found in the Vedic literature. When we want to establish the bona fides of something, then it has to be backed by Guru Sadhu Shastra. And specifically when we speak of mantra, it has to be an authentic mantra that has been quoted or has been mentioned in a particular scripture and which has been also validated by our acharyas. So we all know that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is found in a particular scripture. Now maybe some of you can type in, if you know the name of the scripture, where the Mahamantra is mentioned, and that is our basis for stating that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a bona fide mantra. Of course, for us, the main reason is that it was advocated propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Lord Krishna himself. So, even if there had been no other reference, for us, it would still have been an authentic reference. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam, this mata or the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tatradaraha na paraha, there is nothing greater than that. So I have great respect for the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and there is nothing superior to that. This is the statement in one of the verses which I quoted or which I spoke in the Mangalacharan, the auspicious invocation mantra. So, but nevertheless, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in this material world on the earth planet to teach us the authorized way of doing things, and he also has established that whatever we do must be authenticated by the Vedic scriptures. So even though being Krishna himself, he can do anything and it will still be bona fide, but still whenever he spoke, he always cited the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures. And therefore for us it is very important that we also do the same. So in the last few minutes that I have been speaking, many of you have correctly stated that the scripture in which this Mahamantra is found is the Kali Santaran Upanishad. Some of you have mentioned Padma Purana or Chaitanya Bhagavata and other scriptures, but principally it is found in the Kali Santaran Upanishad. So, as you all know, the Upanishads are a very important part of the Vedic literature. They are the philosophical part of it, so to speak. Not that philosophy doesn't appear in other parts of the Vedic literature, but primarily the Upanishads are very philosophical in nature. There are many Upanishads, 108 Upanishads, of which 8 are considered very prominent. Srila Prabhupada translated and gave purports to one such Upanishad, the Isha Upanishad, But in his teachings, in his lectures, in his purports, he often also cited some other Upanishads like the Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, etc. So these Upanishads, therefore, are a very bona fide source of knowledge for all of us. There are many Upanishads which are considered major Upanishads, and other Upanishads which are considered minor Upanishads because they may be very brief, they may have very few shlokas, few verses, and generally they are not so well known as the other verses. So this particular Upanishad, the Kali Santaran Upanishad, is one of the Upanishads considered a minor Upanishad by the scholars. For us, it's very important because it gives us the mantra for deliverance. The word Upanishad, as we all know, means Upanishad. Upa means below, Ni means near, Shat means to sit. So when a disciple sits at the feet of the Guru and receives transcendental knowledge through his ears, that knowledge is called Shruti. Shruti means knowledge which is acquired by hearing. And that is Upanishad. That's the meaning of the general word Upanishad. And then there are so many different Upanishads. So the word Kali Santaran The word Santaran means to enable one to cross over. To cross over what? Taran. The word Taran indicates crossing over. Santaran indicates effectively or completely crossing over. And crossing over what? Kali. This ocean of faults. This age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So, this Kali Santaran Upanishad, in which the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has been mentioned, is considered to be, by its own title, that Upanishad that will help one to cross over this otherwise unsurpassable ocean of Kali Yuga, which is full of faults. One can attain spiritual perfection in this most degraded of all ages by the very simple process that has been outlined in this text. So we are actually in some ways very fortunate to be born in Kali Yuga because we have such a simple process for deliverance, simply chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And we are especially fortunate that we are born in the same Kali Yuga in which Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now again, as we all know, Sri Krishna appears in his original form as the two-handed flute-playing, blue-colored cowherd boy only once in a day of Brahma. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appears only once in a day of Brahma in the Kali Yuga that follows the Dwapar Yuga in which Sri Krishna appears. So we have appeared only 500 plus years after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the larger scheme of things, in the time scales of the universe, this period of 500 years is really negligible. So we are utterly fortunate that we have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to make the path so easy for all of us. And he has given us this simple process of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which will help us easily to cross over the ocean of material existence in this very, very degraded and difficult age of Kali Yuga. So that is Kali Santaran Upanishad. Now, this Upanishad is a conversation, as indeed are most of the Vedic scriptures, whether they are the Puranas or the Upanishads, they are even the Mahabharata, for example. By the time they appear in text form, we understand them to be conversations between two exalted personalities. Just like the Srimad Bhagavatam is a conversation between Shukadev Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj, and also between Suta Goswami and the sages assembled at Naimisharanya. And there are multiple conversations within that text. Similarly, the Upanishads are also conversations between saintly personalities. And in this particular text, Kali Santaran Upanishad is a conversation between the great devotee Narad Muni and his guru and father, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe. So it doesn't have many verses. So I will just quickly read the verses. It has only about 10 or 11 verses. So I will just read out the verses and explain them very briefly. We can't have a very long discussion on each verse because of limitations of time. So in the first verse, now this conversation apparently happens in Brahmaloka because Narad Muni has approached his father and guru. And it starts with Hari Om. Dvaparante Narado Brahmanam Jagama Katham Bhagavan Gam Paryatam Kalim Santare Yamiti. Dvaparante, at the end of Dwapara, Naradaha, the great sage Narad Muni, Brahmanam Jagama. The great sage Narad Muni went to meet Brahma and he asked him a question. Now, Narad Muni had been traveling all over the earth. So he said, Katham Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan is normally used for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but as Srila Prabhupada has sometimes explained, it is also occasionally used for exalted personalities like Narada Muni or Brahma and so on. So Narad Muni says, Katham Bhagavan Gam Paryatang Kalim Santare Yamiti. So how is it that one I will be able to swim over Santare? Santareyam means to swim across or cross over. In this Kali Yuga, Kalim Santareyam. So how will I be able to cross over this age of Kali? And I would like to know that Katham Bhagavan iti. Thus Narada inquired from Brahma. And Gam Paryatanka. So he has traveled all over the earth and he has not been able to come to any conclusive answer. So he has come to his guru and father for elucidation, for confirmation or clarification as to what is the way in which he can be delivered in this ocean of Kali Yuga. So naturally, like all the other Upanishads too, this has also been compiled by Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva also happens to be the disciple of Narad Muni. So Vyasadeva has been meticulously compiling all these different scriptures for our welfare and deliverance. Sahuvacha Brahma Sadhu Pruštosmi Sarvashruti Rahasyam Gopyam Tachrunu Yena Kali Samsaram Tarishyasi. Saha Uvacha Brahma. So Brahma then spoke as follows. Sadhu Prishtaha Asmi Sarvashruti. He said, Narad Muni, you have asked me well, you have spoken well, sadhu. You know, in the Vedic conversations, whenever somebody spoke something well, then the other person would or persons would appreciate it by saying sadhu, sadhu. So we find this in the Srimad Bhagavatam as well. Muneha sadhu prishtoham bhavat ved lokamangalam, like that. So, O Munis, O great sages, you have spoken very well. So, because the art of asking questions is something we also have to learn. It's not that we can speak anything we like when we are asking questions. The questions have to be very well considered, very well thought out, phrased very properly and succinctly, and they have to be meaningful, and they have to shall we say, motivate the speaker to give his best, to give all the knowledge that he has, and to correctly answer so that the rasa, the mellows of the discussion can then become sweeter. So his sadhu prishtaha asmi. So indeed, your question is very beneficial for all mankind. So listen now. Shruti rahasyam gopyam tachrinu. So listen now to this very great secret of all Vedic scriptures. And it is worth concealing like a treasure. Gopyam. Yena kali samsaram tarishyasi. So by understanding this knowledge, by this essential secret of the Vedic scriptures, which is like a concealed treasure, you shall be easily able to cross the ocean of material existence in this age of Kali. So, Then he says, Bhagavata Adi Purushasya Narayanasya Namocharana Matrena Nirdhuta Kalir Bhavati. So he has given the essential process, which is to chant the holy names. He says Bhagavata. Bhagavata refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Bhagavan comes from Bhagavat. Vat means one who possesses. Bhagavat, full of. That's something that is full of. So, Dandavat, like, we say Dandavat. So, like a Danda. So, Bhagavat, full of opulences, and Adi Purushasya, of the Adi Purush, Narayanasya, of Narayan, who is the Adi Purush, Namucharana Matrena. Uchcharan means the pronunciation or recitation. Matrena means only by. Simply by chanting the holy names. Nirdhuta Kalir Bhavati. Nirdhuta means the cleaning process. So all the sins of people in this Kali shall become cleansed simply by chanting the holy names. Of whom? Of Adi Purusha, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is also known as Narayana. Now, having stated this very briefly, succinctly, in just one verse, so we all know that the process for deliverance in this age is the chanting of the holy names. And there are innumerable verses like this. We have heard the Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam verse very often. So there are many such references in the scriptures that indicate that the process for deliverance in this age of Kali is to chant the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Naradaha punha papracha tan nama kim iti. So Naradaha punaha papracha. He again asked him, because he had already asked the first question. Now he's asking a follow-up question with respect to the answer that Brahma had given to his first question. Papracha means he asked again. Tan nama kim iti, thus. So what was Narada's repeat question? Tan nama kim. Now you are saying, oh my Gurudev, my dear father, that one must chant the names of the Supreme Person. But which name? Which particular name are you referring to? And then Sahovacha Hiranyagarbha. And then spoke Brahma, who is also known as Hiranyagarbha. So that's another name for Brahma. Of course, there are many different understandings of the word Hiranyagarbha, but that is not relevant to our discussion for today. And then he spoke the Mahamantra, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So this is the Mahamantra. And I'm sure this is a question that most ISKCON devotees ask. Why, or is it that Ram is first, Hare Ram is first, and we chant Hare Krishna first? So why is that? Now, Srila Prabhupada explains in one place, he refers to this particular confusion. And he says people are confused about this matter. But it does not really matter whether one is chanting Hare Ram first or one is chanting Hare Krishna first. Both will deliver us. So we should continue to chant. And then he explained that by chanting Krishna's name, one gets delivered. And one chants Ram's name also one is delivered, because Ram is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, within ISKCON, one hears various explanations for this. One explanation that some devotees give is that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living amongst very conservative sections of society, especially the Brahmana community, who did not uh, look favorably upon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu publicly chanting the names of Krishna and involving those people who were from various sections of society, from various social segments of society, various strata of society. So they didn't quite appreciate that. And, and also there is a kind of a restriction on the chanting of Vedic mantras, that only certain people who are qualified by dint of certain ceremonies and their own internal qualification, which is more important than merely the external qualification, only they are permitted to chant Vedic mantras. And also that Vedic mantras should not actually be repeated publicly. And we see that often. For example, you will see that in the Brahma Samhita commentaries of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or elsewhere too. Whenever reference is made to Vedic mantras in any other text, either it is only a small part of it that is mentioned, or the order of the words is sometimes changed. It may be reversed or it may be slightly changed, altered, so that you're not actually speaking that exact same mantra. But the indication is clear that you're referring to that particular mantra. So this is one explanation that is given by the devotees, that this is the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested we should chant Hare Krishna first and then Hare Rama. Another explanation that is given by some devotees is that because we are ultimately devotees of Lord Krishna, especially in Vrindavan, and even though we very much accept Lord Ram, we also adore him and we respect him and so on. But he is an expansion of Lord Krishna, and for devotees who are in the mood of Vrindavan, they want to relate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Govinda, as Shyamasundar, as Gopal, the tender of the cows, and Gopijana Vallabha, one who is very dear to the gopis. And therefore for us, Krishna is first because that is the bhava in which we aspire to be in the mood of Vrindavan. So that is another explanation. And the third explanation, anyway, which I have already stated, is that it doesn't really matter whether it is Hare Ram first or Hare Krishna first. Ultimately, we're chanting the same mantra, and this is a Tarak mantra. A Tarak mantra, Tarak as in the word Tarana, Santarana Upanishad. The word Tar means to cross over. So Tarak refers to something that can make one cross over. So generally there are some scriptures, some samhitas, which speak about different Taraka mantras for the 4 yugas. Each yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, has its own Tarak mantra. For example, the Tarak mantra in Satya Yuga is Narayana Paraveda, Narayana Parakshara, Narayana Paramuktihi, Narayana Paragatihi. So that's the Tarak mantra according to one particular scripture for Satya Yuga. Some say it is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that is a mantra that was chanted, but specifically the Taraka mantra is mentioned here. In Treta Yuga, it was Rama Narayana Ananta Mukunda Madhusudana Krishna Keshava Kansare Hare Vaikuntha Vamana. In Dwapar Yuga, it is Hare Murare Madhukaitabhare Gopala Govinda Mukunda Shaure Yagnesha Narayana Krishna Vishnu Nirashrayam Jagadisha Raksha. Now, some of you may have seen that very famous film on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Neelachalir Mahaprabhu and also Nadiyar Nimai, two very famous films that were made probably 60 or 70 years ago. And ISKCON devotees watch it. It's still available probably on YouTube. They're excellent films. And in that, you will see this song being sung. Hare Murare Madhukaita Bhare Gopala Govinda Mukunda Saure. Like that. So this mantra in those days must have been quite popular. So this was another mantra, the Taraka mantra for Dwapar Yuga. Although, of course, you can chant any name of the Lord in any yuga, the holy name of the Lord remains very powerful. But when we speak of mantras, we are speaking of a combination of certain types, certain words, in which the holy name is also present. And in Kali Yuga, of course, we know the Taraka mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila in the Antya Leela Haridas Thakur explains that other mantras may be Taraka mantras, the names of the other incarnations of the Lord and so on, as pure and as holy and as worthy of respect they are. But since we are after Krishna Prem, we are after the love of Vrindavan, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not just a Taraka mantra which can liberate us from the ocean of material existence, but it is Paraka mantra. Paraka mantra is that which can give prema, not simply that which can give liberation. So we can understand it in that way. And also, incidentally, I want to mention, since we are on this topic, that there are many other scriptures in which may not be considered directly the Shruti, or it may be even, but there we find the Hare Krishna Hare Krishna coming first before the Hare Ram. Also, I cannot say for a fact, but I did hear some devotees say that there are some editions of the Kali Sankaran Upanishad which are found in some libraries, old libraries which preserve the manuscripts. And some of these manuscripts, these very old manuscripts, they have Hare Krishna in the first and then Hare Rama. Some manuscripts have Hare Rama first and Hare Krishna. But as I cited Srila Prabhupada by saying, it doesn't really matter. And since Mahaprabhu has told us, and Srila Prabhupada has told us to chant the mantra with Hare Krishna first, we do that. But nevertheless, it's interesting to note that there are other scriptures within the Vedic literature that also talk about the Hare Krishna mantra first. For example, in the scripture called Brahma Yamala, it is said, Hare Krishna padadvandvam Krishneti cha padadvayam tatha Hare padadvandvam Hare Rama iti dvayam. So you see, the whole Mahamantra is not mentioned because here also it's almost like a code. It's mentioned in kind of a indirect way because generally you're not supposed to say the whole mantra. So it says to chant the Mahamantra, first chant Hare Krishna twice. Hare Krishna pada dvandvam Krishneti cha pada dvayam tatha Hare pada dvandvam. And then chant Krishna twice, then Hare twice. Then after that, chant Hare Rama twice, and again Hare twice. Tad ante cha Mahadevi Rama Rama dvayam vadet Hare Hare tato buruyad Hari Nama samudharet Mahamantram cha Krishnasya sarva papa pranashakam iti. So this is from a scripture called the Brahma Yamala, and it is spoken by Lord Shiva. And therefore we heard Tad Ante Mahadevi. So Lord Shiva is speaking to the goddess Parvati. And there's another scripture called the Radha Tantra, in which actually the whole Mahamantra is mentioned. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dvatrimshat aksharani eva kalo namani sarvadam etan mantram sutashreshtha prathamam shrinuyan naraha. That, O best among sons, the Mahamantra for Kali Yuga bestows all perfection. This Mahamantra, the sacred names of Lord Krishna, is composed of 16 names and 32 syllables. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, a person who desires his own welfare should first hear this Mahamantra from his Gurudev. And there is also a section of the Brahmanda Purana, which is called Radha Hridaya Khanda, in which Vyasadeva instructs Romaharshana Sutta. And here also he mentions the whole Mahamantra with Hare Krishna in the beginning. And it ends in a similar way as we have seen in the Kali Santaran Upanishad. Iti Shodashakam Namnam Trikala Kalmashapaham Nataha Parataropayah Sarva Vedeshu Vidyate. Just some slight difference. That for achieving liberation from bondage, the four Vedas do not mention a method superior to the chanting of this Mahamantra. And the Mahamantra has been mentioned just before this with Hare Krishna, beginning with Hare Krishna. Similarly, another scripture called the Ananta Samhita also starts with Hare Krishna. Similarly, the Sanat Kumar Samhita also states the same. And there are some other some other scriptures like that. So therefore, suffice it to say that our chanting of Hare Krishna first is quite bona fide, is quite fine, and there need not be any confusion or argument about this. So then, after having stated this, Brahma says in the Kali Santaran Upanishad, Iti Shodashakam Namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nataraha Parataropayah Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. Shodashaka means 16. Shodasha. So this is the Sanskrit word for 16. Iti Shodashakam Namnam. So Shodashakam means a collection. So this particular mantra that has 16 words, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, it can destroy Nashanam, Kalmasha, all the contamination of Kali, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, Nataha Paratara Upayaha Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. No other remedy than this is seen in all the Vedic scriptures. So he goes on to say that in this way the Mahamantra of 16 names is the destroyer of the covering of the Jivatma, which is composed of 16 constituents. It is then only that Lord Krishna shines before the Jiva like the rays of the sun when the cloud is removed. So the bound spirit soul in the material world has many coverings, gross and subtle. And essentially, what the Shastra says that there are 16 such constituents of this covering. And we may find slightly different descriptions of these constituents in different scriptures, but essentially it's more or less the same. And for example, in the Uddhava Gita, we find the 16 as being the 5 material sense organs, that means the Gyanendriyas, the 5 breaths, the 5 working organs, the Karmendriyas, and the material conscience, which is composed of the material mind, intelligence, and ego. So when we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the contamination that is a covering of the jiva, is then cleansed, is destroyed. And Punar Narada Papracha Bhagavan Kosya Vidhi Riti. He says, Kaha Asya Vidhi Asti. So, what is its procedure like? He wants to know, is there any procedure for chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra? And he says, Brahma replies and says, there is no set procedure for chanting of this Mahamantra. Tam Bhuvacha Nasya Vidhiriti Sarvada Suchira Shuchirva. A seeker of truth can chant whether pure or impure. And he can attain 4 types of liberations. We all know the 4 types of liberations. Of course, the devotees don't like to merge into the Supreme Lord. Neither are the devotees seeking any form of liberation. But easily such liberations can be obtained. When one chants this Mahamantras of 16 names, it is said here, Sardha Trikoti. Koti means a crore, which means 10 million. Trikoti means 3 crores or 30 million. And Sardh means half. So basically 3.5 crore times or 35 million times. So if one chants the Mahamantra for 3.5 crore names rather, then one can absolve oneself of many, many things and one can transcend material existence. Now, that is not to say that the Mahamantra has to be chanted just mechanically, just a certain number of rounds and then we think we are done. Okay, I've chanted this number of rounds and so now I'll go back to Godhead. One time a devotee was asking in a class, he asked me, he said, when we chant, sometimes the chanting becomes mechanical. So what should one do? So I replied, make it electrical. Electrical means you charge it up, you charge your chanting up. So when you charge yourself up, you charge your chanting process, meaning you chant with fervor, chant with devotion. Don't chant lazily or casually. Then your chanting will move from mechanical chanting to electrical chanting. So anyway, these names, numbers and all that are given. So essentially it means that, if you chant for many, many years, then you can complete this. But remember, Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. So quantity certainly is a must, and especially the minimum quantity that has been prescribed to us. Minimum 16 rounds of the Mahamantra every day. But we should try to chant more if possible, as many as possible. Srila Prabhupada also encourages us to do that. And finally, Brahma says, by chanting this Mahamantra, one certainly attains purity immediately from sins caused by neglecting all religious duties. This is the Upanishad. Now, there's not so much about Krishna Prem that we see directly emanating here. This is why we need Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to elaborate and to give us that Paraka understanding of the Mahamantra and not just the Taraka connotation of it. Taraka means the deliverer and Paraka means what? One which gives prema according to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So for us, the purpose of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is to attain prema for Sri Krishna, for Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. This is the purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promoting this Mahamantra. Okay, so it's almost 8 o'clock and we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you all very much and best wishes to all of you. Have a wonderful week ahead with the holy name and for the rest of one's life too. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. That was a very wonderful class by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. Very broad way, I just covered a few aspects of what was covered in this, and it was a lot of learning for me. I had the first time I heard about the source and how it has been, how it is elaborately explained. Uh, Chanting the holy name is very authentic and it is backed by scriptures. So here we're talking about Kali Santarana Upanishad. And we actually chant the holy name as advocated by Mahaprabhu. So, and Maharaj explains what is the meaning of a Santaran. So here, Santaran means effectively crossing over, and it is Kali. So actually, Kali Santaran, so it's actually Kali Yuga. So help us cross over Kali in a simple process. And he also mentions that we are very fortunate to be in this Kali Yuga, especially where Mahaprabhu appeared. And all the Upanishads are basically the conversation between two persons. In this case, it is the in this case of in this Kali Santarana Upanishad, it is between Narada Muni and Brahma, and he explains about why there's a lot of confusion as the Upanishad actually talks of Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why Hare Krishna comes first? He said it could be seen in three different ways. One is it was due to the lower strata of society with whom Mahaprabhu was actually dealing with, and he didn't want publicly to chant the holy name, so he made a change. Second one talked about it being the mood of Vrindavan and the gopis, and that's why we do it. The third one, as Prabhupada normally says, it doesn't matter which way you actually chant. So we follow Mahaprabhu and Acharyas, the parampara. And then he talks about he talks about the Mahamantra is not only the Taraka, but it's also the Paraka. That is, it not only delivers, but it also gets you prema. So it is Taraka and Paraka mantra. And he also talked about other Puranas where I'm sorry, other places where this particular reference of the Mahamantra being Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He talked about at least one of them, which I actually noted down, was the Brahma Yamala Upanishad, I think. And here it was a conversation between Lord Shiva to Parvati Devi, where he talks about the Mahamantra and says that is the best way of doing it. Continuing with the particular topic of the conversation between Narada Muni and Brahma, there is no mantra which is superior to Mahamantra, it's very clearly told. And there's a 16-worded mantra which can destroy all effects of Kali, and there is no other way to actually overcome Kali. And it was also compared to the 16 consequences of covering of the individual soul, which can be totally destroyed by this. It was also mentioned that the Mahamantra can be chanted at any time, and and it can be chanted with ease, and there is no restriction. So which actually came about, and the effect of this is you can get easily the 4 types of liberation also. And Maharaj also mentioned that if we chant 3.5 crore names, then it will basically destroy all the effects of Kali and will basically absolve us. That's what he mentioned over there. But he said that doesn't mean we should stop with something. We should continue chanting attentively. And he said chant with devotion and not casually. And towards the end, he talked about Krishna is a bhavagrahi and bhavagrahi janadana. And so, which means quality matters and not the quantity. So we must keep that in mind. Hare Krishna. Sorry, it got cut somewhere in between.
No, towards the end, after Bhavagrahi Janardana.
Yeah, and then Bhavagrahi Janardana. So the focus should be on quality and not quantity. And towards the end, he just concluded saying that we chant the holy name to attain Krishna Prem. So I'll just stop here. I'm sorry I took a little more time, but I just wanted to share, give an opportunity for any devotees to unmute their lines and share their reflections.
And he told about a Taraka and Paraka comes. Taraka delivers, Paraka gives love of.
Prema.
Yes,
Yes, Napesh. Absolutely. Any other reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the nice audio revision, Prabhu. Prabhu, some books I've read that this mantra comes from Bruhad Naradiya Purana also, Prabhu. Any explanation, Prabhu?
Brihad Narayani Puran also I've heard, but it may be, as he said, there are references given in different places, but he's talking on the primary source, which comes from, is actually from there is a Kali Tantaran Puran.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavats. Hare Krishna.
Because the Maha Mantra has been referred in different places. That's what he said. So it is referred in different places also. Yeah. Any other reflections? We actually passed the time. So, in fact, we all must thank Sankarshan and Pray Prabhu for choosing this wonderful topic, because it's very good to know the source. Because several times when people ask, we get a little confused on this. At least I would get. So it was very helpful for me. So I just thank Prabhu for this. And tomorrow we'll have the class from the temple. It will be live class. So thank you for joining today. I'll just end the session now with the pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhashcha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishvanebhyo namo namaः. Ananta koti Vaishnava Sangha ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamruta Swami Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Sitaram Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you for joining today. We'll meet tomorrow.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Dandavat.
Madam, ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಗಂಟೆ ನೀರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। वैष्णव ठाकुर श्री प्रसाद गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि।
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams.